Let me tell you how it started in 1884. Métis de Saint-Laurent wouldn't take no more. Anger and frustration festered in the land to get the rights to own the farms they made by their own hands. Farms they made by their own hands. In the home of Abraham Montour on April 24th was a meeting of the council to decide upon a course. Eyes, mister, take your pony to Riel and Gabriel. Journey to Montana and bring back Monsieur Riel. Go get Louis Riel. Meanwhile, back in Ottawa, Sir John was really stewing. What the hell that bunch of bloody half-breeds think they're doing? He lifted his decanter to make sure his glass was filled, made a fist and said he had a railroad to build. He said he had a railroad to build. But he needed more financing and soon devised a plan to come up with the money and emerge an honored man. He knew the might of empire and he broke into a grin. I'll create a little battle I know that I can win, a fight that he'd be sure to win. He already hated Louis and ignored the Métis calls when they sent him down petitions, but his ears had walls. In league with Lawrence Clark, who wrote to let him know if he'd stall a little more, the situation soon would blow. He knew that it was bound to blow. Then he sent out for recruits from Old York and Peterborough, sent them to the valley of the River Lot Furrow. They trekked across the country, an ordeal and a fight. When they reached Métis, they wondered if the Métis might be right. They began to think the Métis were right. Then the Métis went to Duck Lake and busted down a door, armed themselves with anything they found in Mitchell's store. Soldiers came from Carleton ready to attack. When Isidore Dumont was slain, there was no going back. Métis in the rifle pit, soldiers in the dell. Middleton's a draw beat and blow 'em all to hell. Though they numbered 10 to 1, their foes they couldn't see. By the time the sun went down, the Métis had the victory. At Fish Creek they had the victory. Was turned, Métis blood upon the trails, out of ammunition, shooting rocks and shooting nails. An old warrior lay dying, for this world he wasn't long. And as the spirit left his body, he was singing out his song. As it slipped away, he sang his song. And the women and the children, hidden damp in dingy caves, breathing in contagion that would put them in their graves. Giving up their rations so the men could battle on, they shivered there in darkness, terrified and woe begone. Terrified and woe begone. The inevitable came on the 12th day of May. Those who were not killed were gathered up or got away. Louis soon surrendered, hungry, cold and tired, and he offered up a pistol that he hadn't even fired. Was he a prophet or a madman, fool or was he wise? Someone to admire or someone to despise? But in the halls of honor was justice really seen, when a jury fee for mercy brought a hanging for the queen. It brought a hanging for the queen. So the people went in exile to Montana for a time, were later given amnesty, came back across the line, returning to their homes under pressure to give in to a world that forced them to deny their blood, deny their kin, deny their blood, deny their kin. And when the Great Depression came, the country said to the Métis, taking care of breeds was never our responsibility. Though you flourished in the fur trade that made this country rich, you can take your squaw, go and make your living in a ditch. And when our patriotic hunters volunteered to go to war, never dreaming what inequity would wait in store, while others received benefits, would they ever get the same from a hard and distant government with no honor and no shame? To this very day it has no upon as mongrels, suspicious in a crowd, although we have a heritage of which we should be proud. And now you've heard this tale, and I hope I've made it clear. Bonds of blood don't alter with the changing of a year. This story had its climax in 1885,